Did we say beer? Hey, beer and crabs. What goes better in the summertime? All right, we're in the kitchen with Chef Christopher Brown, Department Chair for Culinary Arts and Hospitality Management at Stratford University. Okay, kind of let the cat out of the bag with a crab out of the bag there, Christopher Brown. What do we got here? Softies, huh?
Well, we have some wonderful fresh soft-shell crabs. Just came in yesterday afternoon to me, and these are wonderful. They're actually in the point where they're getting ready to molt on us, and they're about a day away from getting hard shell again. So we're going to cook these off, but today we're going to do them with a lemon garlic aioli, which is just a nice, really rich mayonnaise-based sauce. Then we're going to pan fry them in a beer batter. So I'm going to have you make the sauce while I go ahead and clean up one of these crabs for y'all.
Okay, well, we're going to get started in just a moment. We are doing soft shells in the kitchen today, so stick around. Krabby Patties in the kitchen this morning. Yes, we are back in the kitchen with Chef Christopher Brown, Department Chair for Culinary Arts and Hospitality Management at Stratford University. Christopher Brown, what are we doing today?
Well, today we're going to do soft shell crabs, and we're going to make a nice, rich, really flavorful aioli sauce, which is a nice mayonnaise-based sauce. I went ahead and made this fresh mayonnaise last night before I left the school, and today we're going to add some garlic and lemon and white wine, salt and pepper, and some nice dried herbs to it, just to give it a nice little pop. It's better than your traditional tartar sauce. So I'm going to have you mix that up.
Okay.
We're actually going to use all of the liquid there, but we're going to go nice and light with the spices and the garlic. You can get as garlicky as you like, and while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and clean a soft shell crab.
Okay, so everything?
All the herbs.
All the herbs.
Yep.
Okay, and all, well...
Just a little bit.
Just a little pinch of the pepper? What do we...
That's good.
Okay.
Definitely just a pinch of the salt.
Just a pinch of the salt. Okay, and this is, what is this? Butter?
That's white wine and lemon.
All of that, right?
All of that.
That's what I thought. Okay.
And we're just going to work that in gently. You don't want to have too much of a splash up.
And garlic, you said a pinch?
Oh, a little bit more than a pinch. We like garlic.
Okay.
Garlic makes everything better.
There we go. All right. I think that's enough, but I'm not sure.
So we're going to just have you go ahead and mix that until it smooths out a little bit. We want it somewhat portable and smooth, but while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and clean a soft shell. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but soft shell crabs, you do have to clean them before you work with them, and one of the most important parts to remove is actually this little bib underneath, because if you don't remove the bib, that can actually pop up on you and pop when you're cooking, splattering you and anybody close to you while you're cooking. The next thing you need to remove are the little mouth parts, and I just do it very quickly with a knife, and it's over. And we're going to go ahead, open them up, pull out the little gills, and we do this by hand, or you can do it with a knife tip. It's very simply done, and at this point, this crab is ready to go.
You leave the back shell on?
I do. I leave the back shell on because if I'm going to fry these off, it's going to give it a nice shape to it, because people really want to see that shape of the crab and know they're getting a crab. So you can do these for sandwiches. You can do these for almost anything that you want. So,
you know, I did a little research on these guys. In the average lifespan of a blue crab, they shed 25 to 27 times.
Wow.
Oh, they do shed a lot when they're young. And what they do is they fill up with water before they drop the shell, and then once they drop the shell, they fill up with more, and they almost double in size. That's why they're so moist.
I didn't know that. Now, the thing about the soft shell crabs is, and one of the things, because we do really work with the field to table and the farm to table, is the crab population in Chesapeake has dropped precipitously because of all of just the overproduction and everything. But what we're really trying to do is really encourage wholesalers and encourage the market to start planting seagrasses again, which is the prime habitat for those guys. And that's where they love to molt, so they can hide where they get their food.
They're in rocks.
Now, one of the next things I'm going to do before I make my beer batter is I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to get these lightly coated so that I'm ready to go. And once they're lightly coated in this flour mixture, one little secret tip that you can do if you want to have a nice crisp crab in part of your batter and part of your flour is add a couple tablespoons of cornstarch to it. And it just nicely crisps up, helps keep them nice and dry.
And it seems as if this time of year, everyone has a soft shell crab recipe. Is there so many different ways you can do it, or is it pretty much basic?
No, there's a lot of different ways. I mean, you're doing the same cooking method for each one. You're either pan frying it or broiling it, but it all comes down to the individual chef's personal taste.
Right.
Now, I like beer, I like crabs, so frankly, they go greatly together.
Well, you know what? We're going to get along well together, Chris, I can tell you. Beer and crabs.
Yeah. So the next thing I want to ask you to do is, if you wouldn't mind pouring the beer in here, and
my pleasure. Okay, in here?
In there.
All right.
So we're going to get all that beer in there, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to just whisk it in nice and gently. Now, one thing you want to avoid is pouring too quickly and whisking too quickly. Otherwise, you're going to have a beer explosion.
Yeah, I know. There's a big head in that beer right there, so. Okay.
And just keep working it in. Now, one of the things that I like to do is, with my batter, is I'm going to let this sit for about 2 or 3 minutes before I actually coat my crabs, because it lets those extra bubbles get out.
Right.
Now, one little safety tip. I did mention that the bibs can sometimes inflate on you when they get hot and they'll steam up and pop. One thing I like to do is poke my crab just right through the top shell a couple times, and that way they don't inflate with the steam, they don't pop, and they don't spit everywhere with all that hot fat.
Okay, that's a great tip. Okay, we're going to let this beer batter sit for a few minutes, get some of the bubbles out. We're going to be back in a few minutes to fry these softies up. Christopher Brown with Stratford University, thank you so much. We're going to get back and cook those crabs up in a minute. Welcome back to the Hampton Roads Show. We are back in the kitchen with Chef Christopher Brown, Department Chair for Culinary Arts and Hospitality Management at Stratford University. We are cooking pan-fried soft-shell crabs. They are prepared, and it is time to get them in the pan.
All right. Well, let me tell you one little bit about safety on this one first. I know a lot of people, to see if fat's hot in the pan, will sprinkle a little bit of water in that. We don't want to do that. That is an absolute no. Just for safety's sake, take a little bit of your breading and drop some in the hot pan, and if it's hot, it's going to fry up a little bit, and it'll show you that it's nice and safe. Now, what I am going to do is gently lower our nice little crab into this light batter, and just for safety's sake, I am going to pull away from the flame. Lay him in there. Get another one ready to go. These only take about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes per side. So they do go relatively quickly. One thing you do want to pay attention to, if they do start to swell on you, that's a sign that they are steaming inside and they could pop. What I did earlier was I did poke 3 holes in the top shell, but I'm also going to keep something handy just to be able to poke a hole through them, just in case we need to. So remember, they will steam and pop.
They're full of water.
They are. And hot water and hot fat do not go together. So. Now, one of the little secrets I like to do is when anything comes out of hot fat, what goes best with it? Salt.
Salt, right.
So we're going to salt this beautiful crab up right when he comes out. That way we get that real rich, real good crab flavor. I don't hide the product with a lot of Old Bay. I just love that natural flavor. So at this point, I'm going to give him a nice little turn. Now notice he's turning that nice bright red traditional seafood color like crabs and lobsters do. This is just a natural chemical found in called chitin, and this one actually turns red. So here we go, about another minute, and this crab will be ready to go. I am going to season the top.
And there is a little bit of splatter right now.
Just a touch. Now, if you're doing this at home, one thing you can do is you can clamshell this with another pan on top.
Right.
Or you can even get one of the little screens.
Okay, now's a good time to talk about Stratford University, and if somebody out there is watching and they're thinking about a career in the culinary arts, now might be a good time to get in touch with Stratford, isn't it?
It's a wonderful time right now. We are getting ready to open up our Newport News campus on May 21st, so there's still plenty of time to enroll for the culinary arts and baking and pastry program there. So we are very local. All right.
Well, he's looking pretty good. Is he finished?
That one is done.
Now listen, Christopher, because this is Mother's Day week and we're doing a lot of deserving mom makeovers, now's a great opportunity for you to give your mother a shout out, because I'm sure she's deserving.
She really is. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you very much. My mother's name is Gail. Has always been there for me, always supportive of my kitchen career, and thank you very much.
Who taught who more? Did she teach you more in the kitchen, or have you taught her more? A little share of both, or what?
She's taught me a lot more than I could ever do. But it's always fun around the holidays because we're both in the kitchen at the same time.
That sounds great. All right, so we have just a few more minutes left. You've cooked up one. I guess the others, you could cook them all one at a time?
You can cook them one at a time, or depending on how big your pan is, 2 at a time usually. You don't want to cool off your fat too much that's in the pan. Otherwise, you end up steaming these. And I think everybody's had that one crab that's kind of chewy.
Right.
We want to avoid that. We want to have that nice crisp outside on it.
Okay, so this thing is just about ready to plate. You're just going to throw it on the plate, add a little sauce. Once again, we love our soft shells. Find out more about Stratford University School of Culinary Arts. Call them at 757-873-4235 or look them up online, stratford.edu. Now enrolling. Classes begin in May the 21st. It's right around the corner. So Christopher Brown, once again, as always, a great job. It is a pleasure working with you. You do an outstanding job.
Well, thank you very much.